What is up, everybody? It's the Inhuman one here, and today I wanted to go over some of the patch notes for version 1.03 for Elden Ring that just released yesterday. So I think most important to note is that there have been some additional elements that have been added to the game. So there's major changes including the latest update, including a few things I really enjoy, one of which is the addition of a function to record an icon and the name of an NPC on the map when you encounter the NPC. So now the NPCs that are encountered on the map will have a special icon next to them on the map, so you don't have to dedicate marker space to those because you can only use 100. They also added NPC by the name of Jar Baron. They added new quest phases for the following NPCs: Dialos, Nefeli Lo, Kenneth Height, and Gatekeeper Gostok. 4 NPCs that I thought were incredibly interesting. However, their quest lines as they existed prior to the patch were very short, and Dialos seemed incomplete. Nefeli Lo's also seemed incomplete, and Kenneth Height for sure, In Search of That Lord, was definitely one that I thought was a missed opportunity. But however, it looks like they've come back and added some additional quest lines for those characters. Gatekeeper Gostok is also one that has an additional quest line. They also added some summonable NPCs in multiple situations, so maybe different fights that were a little bit more off the beaten path that were proved to be pretty difficult. They probably had NPC summons now. They've also increased the number of patterns of objects players can imitate when using the Mimic's Veil, which is really cool. And they added night background music for some open field areas. Now, there were a handful of bug fixes, like some that fixed, from prevented NPCs from taking damage and just things like that. So plenty of bug fixes all throughout as well. As I mentioned earlier, I will be sure to link the description for the patch notes so you can have a comprehensive list of every single update and every single item that was addressed for the bug fixes. In regards to some balance changes, they have increased the drop rate of smithing stones for some enemies. They've added smithing stones to some early game shop lineups as well. They've increased the shield's effectiveness, many different shields actually, and they've increased the damage for all offensive cracked pot items, which I thought was really good because I plan on doing challenge runs, so in the future I'll be doing probably consumables only type runs, so that would be incredibly important for me to be able to have viable damage, at least on a new game or a fresh file. They've also increased the damage for the following items: Spark Aromatic and Poison Spray Mist. They've increased the effect duration for the following items: Uplifting Aromatic and Iron Jar Aromatic. They increased the HP healing for Torrent when using the following items: Raw Raisin, Sweet Raisin, and Frozen Raisin. And they reduced the FP consumption and increased the damage of the following sorceries: Glintstone Comet Shard, Comet, and Night Comet. They increased the damage of the following sorceries: Gravity Well, Collapsing Stars, and Crystal Barrage. And that's very good because unfortunately, as the prisoner build, I was checking out and trying all the different glintstone sorceries that we attained from the academy, and unfortunately Crystal Barrage and other sorceries like that just were not very effective, and they didn't hardly deal any damage whatsoever, even to Erdtree Burial Watchdogs, believe it or not. They decreased FP consumption of the following sorceries: Star Shower, Rock Blaster, Gallow of Haima, Founding Rain of Stars, Stars of Ruin, Great Blade Phalanx, Magic Downpour, Loretta's Great Bow, Loretta's Mastery, Carian Greatsword, Carian Piercer, and Shard Spiral. They raised the projectile speed and range of the Great Glintstone Shard, which is fantastic because that is one that I use in my build currently. They decreased the Ash of War Hoarfrost Stomp's damage and increased the cast time. So that was probably something that was being spammed or a little bit too OP. Increased Ash of War Bloody Slash's self-inflict damage while slightly lowering the damage and increasing the cast time. So Bloody Slash was something that was definitely being used quite a bit in a lot of the videos you see all online and stuff, where they self-inflict. It's like Harakiri, where they stab themselves, but it increases your damage, and usually they do it twice. Well, they've increased the damage that it does to yourself, but they also lowered the damage output. But however, they have increased the casting time as well. This has decreased weapon skill, Sword of Night and Flame's damage. So the weapon skill for the Sword of Night and Flame was apparently pretty broken, and they have since decreased the damage that it inflicts. I wonder if they do it for both the light and heavy attacks, considering that the Night Comet is one of the sorceries that is cast upon using the weapon and the weapon skill. I wonder if that somehow balances itself out anyways, because they decrease the damage of that particular weapon but increase the damage of the sorcery. So I'm interested to see how that works and plays out. They also increased FP consumption and lower duration of Ash of War Barricade Shield. They changed the FP consumption timing of Ash of War Prelate's Charge, and they decreased the damage of Spirit Summon when using the item Mimic Tear Ash and changed the spirit's behavior pattern. So essentially the damage that it was doing from summoning a Mimic to your Ash has now been reduced a bit. And other enemies and weapon balance changes have also taken place. So anyways, we now have version 1.03 now out. The patch is available, so be sure to play. If you're online, it will be required that you update immediately. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that update, and for more news and information like this and plenty of guides on the way, until next time, it's the Inhuman one signing out.